Our next guest is a renowned, talented Hollywood entertainer. Not only is he an award-winning director, but he also is equally as good as an actor. He's starring in this new film. You've heard a lot about it, Dunkirk. Kenneth joins us right now, and you've cleaned up since I saw the previews and all the mud baths you were in.
Yes. We were certainly amid all of the mud and the water and the sand everywhere while standing on that mole, as they called it, the bridge, the jetty that juts out into the sea on the eastern side of the beach there at Dunkirk, where Chris Nolan brought all of us and went to the source, the original place, and tells this amazing story of 400,000 men trapped, and takes us through what it's like to get them away.
You know, Kenneth, what is it about this project, in particular your role as the commander, that drew you into it?
Well, Christopher Nolan was the lure. I first met him and didn't know anything about what project he wanted to speak to me about, and really I'd have followed him anywhere because I'm a huge fan of what he's done with movies. He's been experimental, but in very popular movie making, sometimes being very, very obscure, but still taking an audience along with him. So I think he's such an adventurous filmmaker, and when he spoke about this, it was with real passion. He wanted to tell a really taut, brief, interweaving story of individual small lives set inside this big epic conflagration, and so I could see it was a real labor of love for him. And as I hoped I might, I learnt an enormous amount as a director, watching a great director at work on something that he loved so much.
I particularly find it fascinating that you have two award-winning directors on the same project, thus, as you mentioned, two different roles. But what did you take from watching Chris in action directing this film?
Well, use of time. He is amazing. You know, I love sports, and sports players of whatever sport that I admire are ones who appear to slow down time. Chris Nolan, as a director, has an obsession with time anyway, and this movie it lays itself out over 3 different time schemes. But I saw him be a wizard with time. He was in the middle of real-time in-camera work. Real boats were by our real jetty, real planes were flying over, real weather was doing its variable thing. But somehow, certainly as a performer, he gave me time that I could not understand how he had ring-fenced in order to... There's a moment in the picture where I see the flotilla of the 700 boats who are going to come and rescue this 400,000 people. It's as if England has come to France to bring its boys home. It was a very important moment to see, a very emotional moment, and we were doing it in the middle of chaos. Chris Nolan made me feel we could take all the time in the world to get that small, intimate moment right, while all of that chaos physically was going on around us. I took my hat off to him for that. That was a real piece of film directing wizardry. He controlled time.
You know, historically, Kenneth, remind us how important it is for us to see this film from a historical perspective.
In 1940, Winston Churchill had been Prime Minister for 16 days when it looked like he was going to lose 95% of the British Army in a single action. That was Dunkirk. Instead, 340,000 members of that army out of 400,000 came back and represented not only a chance for the UK to defend itself against the German threat, but also for the US to see a resilience in the British people and a kind of spirit, what we now know as Dunkirk spirit, which I think was really a miraculous example to a country like the US, who responds to those human miracles, of what there was to admire and maybe to help, as FDR did not so long into that war. Dunkirk was a turning point in saying, you know what, we're not going to give up, but boy, America, do we need your help.
Well, that is certainly moving and touching, and all those heroes that truly came to life, life-changing and altering history, as you referred to. But before we go, Kenneth, given your tremendous success on and off the screen, what has really served you well on that journey?
The kindness of friends, Conn. I've been lucky enough to be surrounded by creative colleagues and family friends who keep everything real and who allow me beautiful moments in life to support the privileged adventures that I go on as an artist. And it's that constancy of friendship which is meaningful with family and friends. That's been the greatest treasure and blessing, along with the God's gift of health that has been my lucky star thus far.
I gotta say, Kenneth, it's an absolute treasure connecting with you for the first time, and I can just see why directors want to work for you and actors want to work for you. So keep up the great work, and I can't wait to watch your film. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Conn. Appreciate it. Thank you.